From east coast to west, more than 24 US cities have seen protests against America's infamous jail for terror suspects. Activists demanded the closure of Guantanamo and tried to draw attention to the mass hunger strike against far-reaching mistreatment there. RT's Marina Portnaya is in New York, where one of the rallies has been taking place.
Times Square is considered one of the best places in the U.S. to advertise a product, a message, or a brand. And that is why civil rights attorneys, human rights groups, and many activists and protesters are out in the streets of Times Square right now to raise awareness about the hunger strike taking place at the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. And it is clearly garnering a lot of attention. What those are saying that have been turning out on the streets is that they're calling on the Obama administration to immediately address the ongoing hunger strike that began in early February at the island prison. According to attorneys representing the detainees there, they say more than 100 men are participating in this hunger strike. They say it began when the detainees there say that the U.S. officials mishandled their Korans during a cell search, and that's what sparked this ongoing hunger strike. According to U.S. military officials, they say only 41 men have been on a hunger strike, and at least 11 are being force-fed. They say nobody's lives are in danger, but that is not what lawyers are telling RT. Take a listen.
I saw men who have dramatically lost weight. The people that I met with had lost over 30 and 40 pounds. What they told me is about men who are too weak to come out of the prison. They told me of men who are skeletal, that's the word they used, who are near death, who are so weak they can't move. They told me about pressure tactics right now within the camp by the authorities to try to break the strike. Things like withholding the delivery of clean drinking water. These are people who have been refusing food for over 60 days. They need water to survive or they will die. And they talked about tactics like the withholding of bottled water to drink and being forced to drink from the sinks in their cells, which are attached to toilets.
Now, this New York rally is part of a nationwide day of action to close Guantanamo and end indefinite detention. Protests are also taking place in over 26 cities, including Chicago, LA, and Washington, D.C.
I think that anything to show Obama or the government that this is wrong and that people don't support it is a good thing.
I don't think Guantanamo is a legitimate vehicle for trying these people. I mean, because they're not being tried is a problem.
Last week, organizations including the Center for Constitutional Rights, Amnesty International, and the United Nations called on Washington to immediately shut down the Guantanamo Detention Center. The UN's human rights chief released a statement saying that America's failure to close the controversial prison and release detainees is a violation of international law. Currently, there are 166 prisoners being held at the island prison, and at least 86 have been cleared for release. Reporting from New York, Marina Portnaya, RT.
Cindy Panucco, who is a lawyer for one of the Guantanamo detainees, told us that her attempts to get the US government more involved in solving the crisis at the prison have got nowhere.
It's interesting. We wrote a letter to Secretary Hagel regarding the hunger strike and our concern as lawyers about the health of the detainees, and we got a response from William Lietzau on behalf of Secretary Hagel, which indicated to us that the U.S. was going to continue to do the humane thing to keep the detainees alive. And it seems that what they feel is humane is to force someone to eat through tubes in their nostrils. And the fact that the International Red Cross now is also, appears condemning force feeding. This could be a turning point. If you can't force feed the men and you can't take other measures to keep them alive, then you have to, at this point, provide them the respect, the process, respect their religion, respect the Quran searches, talk to them about what it is that it's going to take to end the strike, to keep them alive.
Well, RT has been keeping a close eye on the hunger strike at Guantanamo since the day it began. We've been gathering opinion from lawyers and human rights activists, and they are all lined up for you in a special section at rt.com.